So here's the thing about the Galactic Apex Academy. When you name your military training facility after the concept of being at the top of the food chain, you're really setting yourself up for some ironic situations. But we'll get to that. The Academy sits on a moon called Terminus 7, which sounds way more dramatic than it actually is. It's basically a giant campus where the galaxy's various species send their best and brightest to learn how not to die in interesting ways. They've got 47 star systems represented here, which means the cafeteria situation is absolutely chaotic, but that's another story. I'm Marcus Webb, human cadet 3rd class, and the only member of my species currently enrolled. Not because humans are rare exactly, but because most of us are too busy doing human things like arguing on the galactic internet or opening restaurants on space stations. We're the golden retrievers of the galaxy, apparently. Friendly, enthusiastic, and not particularly threatening. Today is the annual Predator drill and everyone is losing their minds. Commander Velrix, our drill instructor, has 4 arms and the personality of a disappointed father. He's a Saurian from Vex Prime, which means he's got scales, stands about 7 feet tall, and honestly looks like someone's nightmare about velociraptors gaining military training. He's been pacing in front of our formation for 10 minutes, all 4 arms gesturing wildly. This is not a simulation, Velrix announces for the 3rd time. This is not a hologram. This is a genuine Krathmon Ravager, a real apex predator from a Class 9 death world. Today you will learn what it means to face true danger. My roommate Pip is standing next to me, and I can literally hear his teeth chattering. Pip's a Lapori, which is a fancy way of saying he's a 4-foot-tall rabbit person with anxiety issues. He's got white fur, long ears that keep drooping in distress, and right now he's gripping his datapad like it's a religious artifact. Marcus, he whispers. I updated my will last night. Buddy, you're 20 years old. What do you even have to put in a will? My collection of historical holonovels and my safety blanket. On my other side is Crenshaw, an insectoid from Chitonis. He's got a blue exoskeleton, compound eyes, and the kind of confidence that comes from never being told no. He's currently doing stretches that look physically impossible, which, fair enough, he's got more joints than I have bones. The key, Crenshaw announces to nobody in particular, is superior evolutionary adaptation. My exoskeleton provides natural armor. My species has been apex predators for 60 million years. Cool story, I say, unwrapping my sandwich. Very impressive. Velrix's eyes narrow at me. All 3 of them, because Saurians have an extra one on their forehead for some reason. Cadet Webb, are you eating? Yes, sir. It's lunchtime, sir. We are about to begin the most dangerous training exercise in the Academy curriculum. Understood, sir. Still hungry, sir. I can see Velrix's jaw tighten. The thing about Commander Velrix is that he doesn't know what to do with humans. We don't fit into his neat categories. We're not prey species, but we're not obviously predators either. We're just kind of there, being friendly and eating sandwiches at inappropriate times. Fine, he says eventually. But when the Ravager tears you in half, I'm not pausing the exercise to collect the pieces. Noted, sir. Pip makes a strangled sound that might be a whimper. The containment unit arrives with all the pomp and circumstance of a nuclear warhead being delivered to a children's birthday party. 6 security teams flank a massive reinforced transport that's humming with power dampeners and kinetic shields. The thing is 15 feet long, 10 feet wide, and painted in warning colors that probably violate several safety regulations. The head of security, a crystalline being named Orvax who communicates through light pulses, is personally overseeing the operation. The lights flickering across his fasted body suggest he's either very focused or having a panic attack. With crystalline species, it's hard to tell. Class, Velrix says, and his voice has dropped into what I call his dramatic movie trailer register. Behold, the Krathmon Ravager. They open the container. Look, I've seen scary things. I've watched horror movies. I once stumbled onto a dark corner of the human internet that I'm still trying to forget. But I'll admit, the Ravager is impressive. It's about 12 feet tall when it stands on its hind legs, which it does because apparently evolution decided this thing needed to be as terrifying as possible. It's got obsidian black scales that seem to absorb light, 6 eyes arranged in a way that gives it nearly 360-degree vision, and claws that look like they were designed by a committee of serial killers. Its mouth has 3 rows of teeth. 3 rows. The cadets collectively take a step back. Except Crenshaw, who holds his ground, and me, because I'm still eating my sandwich, and honestly, moving seems like effort. The Krathmon Ravager, Velrix continues, clearly enjoying himself, has a hunting success rate of 97% on its home world. It can track prey across 50 miles of terrain. Its bite force exceeds 8,000 pounds per square inch. It has never been successfully domesticated, tamed, or befriended. Did someone try to befriend it, I ask? Velrix looks at me. Yes. A human, actually. We don't talk about that incident. Fair. The Ravager is currently being guided into the simulation arena by a team of handlers with shock prods and what looks like existential dread. The beast moves with the kind of fluid grace that predators have. Like every step is calculated, every movement has purpose. It's scanning the area, those 6 eyes taking in everything. Pip has gone completely pale under his fur. I can't do this. I can't. My species' entire evolutionary strategy is running away and hiding. This is against my nature. You signed up for a military academy, Crenshaw points out. I was trying to impress someone. Did it work? She joined the merchant fleet instead. Around us, the other cadets are preparing in various ways. Some are meditating. Others are checking their equipment obsessively. One cadet from a gelatinous species is literally quivering in terror, which creates interesting ripple effects. Velrix pulls up a holographic display showing the arena layout. It's a massive space designed to simulate multiple environments. Urban ruins on the left, a forest section in the middle, rocky outcrops on the right. There are obstacles, hiding spots, and what looks suspiciously like escape routes that probably don't actually work. The rules, Velrix announces, are simple. You will enter in groups of 5. You will attempt to evade the Ravager for 10 minutes. If you survive, you pass. If you are caught, well. He makes a gesture with one of his hands that's probably supposed to be reassuring, but absolutely isn't. The medical team is standing by. The Ravager will be in hunting mode, but not kill mode. You'll only be severely injured. Only, Pip squeaks. This is a standard exercise, Crenshaw says, puffing up his thorax. My species completes this with a 78% success rate. And the other 22%? We don't talk about them. There's a lot of not talking about things at this academy I'm noticing. The first group is called 5 cadets from various species, all looking like they're marching to their execution. They enter the arena. The Ravager is released from its starting point. What happens next can only be described as organized chaos. The Ravager moves like liquid death flowing through the obstacles, using its 6 eyes to track all 5 cadets simultaneously. Within 2 minutes, 3 of them are down, being dragged out by medical drones. The other 2 last another minute before the beast corners them in the urban section. The whole thing takes 6 minutes. The Ravager looks disappointed, like it was expecting more of a challenge. Next group, Velrix calls. This continues for an hour. Group after group enters. Some strategies work better than others. One team manages to last 8 minutes by splitting up and using the environment creatively. Another team lasts 30 seconds because they tried to fight the Ravager head-on, which, bold strategy, terrible execution. The medical bay is getting crowded. Finally, inevitably, my name is called. Group 14, Cadet Webb, Cadet Pip, Cadet Crenshaw, Cadet Zeral, Cadet Minth. Pip looks at me with the eyes of someone who has accepted death. It's been an honor knowing you, Marcus. We're roommates, Pip. We'll literally see each other tonight. Your optimism is adorable and misplaced. We head to the arena entrance. Crenshaw is cracking his knuckles, or whatever the insectoid equivalent is. The other 2 cadets, Zoral and Minth, are just kind of existing in a state of controlled panic. The doors open, we enter, and somewhere behind us, they release the Ravager. Okay, so there's a waiting area before you actually get thrown into the arena with the Nightmare Beast. It's got benches, water dispensers, and a view screen showing the current group getting absolutely destroyed by the Ravager. Great for morale. Pip is practically vibrating with anxiety, so I figure I'll distract him. You know, I say, this really isn't that bad compared to some predators back on Earth. Crenshaw's antennae perk up. Oh, here we go. The human is going to tell us about Earth again. I'm just saying. Your planet is a Class 2 garden world, Crenshaw says. Minimal megafauna, practically a paradise. My planet has carnivorous plants the size of buildings. That's cool. We have great white sharks. Pip's ears twitch. What's a shark? And this is where I probably should have stopped talking, but I'm human, and we're physically incapable of not sharing information when someone asks. It's a fish. About 20 feet long, give or take. Has rows of serrated teeth that regrow constantly. Can smell a single drop of blood in an Olympic swimming pool. Has been basically unchanged for 400 million years because evolution looked at it and said, yeah, that's perfect, no notes. The nearby cadets have stopped their own preparations. I've got an audience now. It's a fish, Crenshaw says slowly. That hunts? Oh, buddy, that's just the start. We've got saltwater crocodiles that can go a year without eating and still have enough energy to death roll prey 3 times their size. We've got polar bears that are literally the largest land carnivores on the planet and will hunt you for sport. We've got these things called wolverines that are like 30 pounds of pure rage and will fight bears for food. Pip has gone completely still. Your planet has multiple apex predators? Well, yeah. Different environments, different predators. Mountains, oceans, forests, tundra. Each ecosystem has something at the top. And humans? Asks a cadet I don't recognize, some kind of amphibian species. Where are humans in this hierarchy? I shrug. Everywhere, I guess. We kind of won. Won? The predator competition. The evolutionary arms race, whatever you want to call it. We're not the biggest or the fastest or the strongest, but we're persistent. We used to hunt mammoths with pointed sticks. The silence that follows is profound. Mammoths, Crenshaw says finally. Were those megafauna that stood 12 feet tall and weighed 6 tons? Yeah. We'd chase them until they collapsed from exhaustion, then finish them off. Took like 48 hours sometimes, but we'd just keep following them. They'd run, we'd walk. They'd rest, we'd catch up. Eventually, they'd just give up. Pip makes a sound like a whimper. That's horrifying. It's called persistence hunting. Humans are one of the best endurance runners in the animal kingdom. We've literally outrun horses in marathons. But you're not fast, the amphibian cadet protests. Not in a sprint, no. But over distance, we're nightmare fuel. We sweat, which means we can regulate our temperature while running. Most predators have to stop and pant to cool down. We just keep going, and going, and going. I can see the mental calculations happening in multiple alien heads. The realization that humans aren't slow because we're not dangerous. We're slow because we don't need to be fast. We're patient. Plus, I continue because apparently I'm committed to this horror story now. We've got binocular vision for depth perception. We can throw objects with terrifying accuracy, and we've got enough brainpower to create complex tools and strategies. Early humans used to coordinate hunts that involved driving entire herds off cliffs. Your species, Crenshaw says slowly, drove other species extinct? Oh yeah, like a lot of them. Not on purpose at first, just kind of as a side effect of existing. We're really good at existing. Commander Velrix has apparently been listening because he chooses this moment to intervene. Cadet Webb, you're describing persistence hunting as if it's impressive. The Ravager is an ambush predator with superior speed and strength. Sure, I agree. But ambush predators need the ambush to work on the first try. If it doesn't, we'll just follow it until it gets tired. The Ravager doesn't get tired. Everything gets tired, sir. It's biology. Velrix's scales do this thing where they kind of ripple when he's annoyed. Humans are known for being peaceful, friendly. You run restaurants and write poetry and cry at movies about fictional characters. Yeah, I say. Because we choose to. That's kind of the point. The weight of that statement settles over the waiting area. The idea that humanity's friendliness isn't a weakness but a choice. That we could be something else if we wanted to. Pip looks at me with new eyes. Marcus, have you ever hunted anything? I mean, not personally, but I've been camping, hiked for like 12 hours straight once. It was fun. Fun, Pip repeats faintly. Yeah, it's called endurance. We do it for recreation. On the view screen, another group is getting demolished by the Ravager. The beast is moving with mechanical efficiency, all six eyes tracking, claws flashing. And I'm sitting there thinking about great white sharks and persistence hunting, and the fact that my species climbed to the top of the food chain by just absolutely refusing to quit. Crenshaw is looking at his exoskeleton like it's suddenly not as reassuring as it was 10 minutes ago. Group 14, the announcement system calls. Report to the arena entrance. Pip stands up on shaky legs. I'm going to die. You're not going to die. You don't know that. Statistically, you'll probably just be maimed. Not helping Marcus. We head to the entrance. The doors loom in front of us. Somewhere in the arena, the Ravager is waiting, and I'm realizing that maybe I should have kept my mouth shut about Earth predators. But it's too late now. The arena is bigger than it looks from the outside, which is probably intentional psychological warfare. It's got that processed air smell, like someone tried to make simulated environments smell real, but gave up halfway through. The lighting is designed to create shadows and blind spots. Basically, it's predator paradise. The five of us stand at the starting point. Zoral and Minth, the two cadets I barely know, are already eyeing the exits like they're planning their escape routes. Smart. Remember, Crenshaw says, going into what I assume is his leadership mode. We split up, use the environment, and regroup at the... A horn blares. The Ravager has been released. Crenshaw's carefully planned strategy immediately goes out the window. Zoral and Minth bolt in opposite directions, disappearing into the urban ruins section. Crenshaw takes off toward the rocky outcrops, shouting something about tactical superiority and chitin density. Pip freezes. Completely. Absolutely. His evolutionary programming has kicked in, and his brain has chosen play dead as the appropriate response, despite the fact that we're not dead. And also the Ravager is a predator that definitely knows the difference. Pip, I say calmly, you need to move. He doesn't move. His eyes are glazed. He's gone full prey animal lockup. In the distance, I can hear Crenshaw screaming. It's a weird sound, like someone playing a violin with a cheese grater. Minth's scream joins it about 10 seconds later. The medical drones are probably already moving. The Ravager emerges from the forest section. And this is the part where I should probably be running or hiding or doing something tactically sound. But here's the thing about humans that the galaxy doesn't really get. We're curious, sometimes stupidly so. I want to see this thing up close, so I just stand there. The Ravager is even more impressive in person. Its scales catch the light in weird ways, creating this effect like it's partially invisible. Its six eyes are moving independently, scanning the environment, tracking heat signatures or movement or whatever evolutionary advantages its species developed. The claws are each about a foot long and look sharp enough to split atoms. It's a perfect killing machine. It moves toward us with that liquid grace, each step calculated, muscles rippling under its armor. This is a creature that has never been prey, that has never had to run or hide. It's always been the thing that chases until now. Because the Ravager stops. Just stops. All six eyes lock onto me. And I mean really lock on, with the kind of focus that predators reserve for threats, not food. Its head tilts, which is a universal sign of confusion across like 90% of species. I look back at it. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not growling or puffing up or showing dominance. I'm just standing there looking at this thing with the same energy I'd use to watch a particularly interesting documentary. The Ravager's eyes narrow, all six of them, which is honestly impressive coordination. And then, it backs up. 1 step, 2 steps. In the observation deck, I imagine someone's coffee mug hitting the floor. The Ravager, this apex predator from a Class 9 death world, this thing that has a 97% hunting success rate, is backing away from me. Not cautiously, not strategically repositioning. It's backing away the way you'd back away from an unexploded bomb. Pip is still frozen next to me, but his eyes have gone wide. He's aware enough to realize something weird is happening. The Ravager's nostrils flare. It's doing the predator calculation, the one that every hunting species has buried in its DNA, the risk-reward analysis, the threat assessment, and apparently I'm failing that assessment in interesting ways. Behind me, I hear the arena door open. Commander Velrix's voice comes through the speakers and he sounds confused, which is the first time I've ever heard that particular emotion from him. Cadet Webb, what are you doing? Standing here, sir. Yes, I can see that. Why is the Ravager retreating? I don't know, sir. Maybe it's not hungry? The Ravager takes another step back. Its body language has shifted from predator to something else, something that's doing calculations and not liking the results. I can hear various alarm sounds from the observation deck now. Confused shouting. Someone's probably checking if the Ravager is malfunctioning. The beast's eyes haven't left me. It's still doing that predator thing where they lock onto potential threats and refuse to look away. But it's also continuing to increase the distance between us. Pip finally unfreezes enough to whisper, "Marcus, what is happening?" I think, I say slowly, we might be seeing what happens when a predator meets something it doesn't have a category for. The Ravager's claws are flexing. Its muscles are tense. Every part of its body language says it's ready to fight if necessary. But it really, really doesn't want to fight. And that's when I realize what's happening. This thing is reading me the same way it would read any other predator in its natural environment. It's seeing the binocular vision that predators have. The forward-facing eyes. The upright posture that suggests a creature that doesn't need to watch its back because nothing is hunting it. And most importantly, it's seeing the complete lack of fear response. Because here's the thing about humans. We didn't evolve to be prey. We've been apex predators for so long that our species has forgotten what it's like to be hunted. We don't have the instinct to run or hide or submit. We just have curiosity and stubbornness. The Ravager is looking at me and seeing another apex predator. And like most intelligent predators, it's deciding that maybe this fight isn't worth it. The arena speakers crackle. This is unprecedented. The Ravager has never retreated from a cadet before. The beast takes one more step back and then it does something that probably violates every principle of its existence. It turns around. Not quickly because predators don't turn their backs on threats, but slowly, deliberately, while keeping some of its eyes on me the whole time. And then it walks away. It just walks away. Toward the containment gate, which isn't even open yet. The handlers are scrambling to figure out what to do. Their protocols definitely don't include predator refuses to hunt and wants to go home. Pip makes a sound that might be a laugh or a sob. Did that just happen? Yeah, I say. I think it did. The arena goes quiet. Even Crenshaw's screaming has stopped, probably because the medical team sedated him. And I'm standing there watching a 12-foot-tall nightmare beast choose to leave rather than deal with me. The drill, I realize, is officially canceled. The observation deck looks like someone set off a confusion bomb. Through the transparent aluminum walls, I can see at least 30 faces pressed against the glass, all wearing expressions that range from shock to existential crisis. Commander Velrix is standing perfectly still, which for a four-armed Saurian usually means his brain has encountered an error message. The Ravager is at the containment gate now, literally pawing at it like a cat that wants to go outside. The handlers are having a frantic conversation with someone over comms, probably trying to figure out if this is allowed. I'm still standing in the middle of the arena. Pip has managed to unfreeze enough to grab onto my arm like I'm a life raft, which is doing interesting things to my circulation. "Marcus," he whispers, "what did you do?" I didn't do anything. That's kind of the whole problem. You stared down a Krathmon Ravager. I looked at it. Looking isn't staring down. Staring down implies intent. It ran away from you. It tactically retreated. There's a difference. But here's the thing. Pip isn't wrong. Something happened in that moment. Some kind of recognition that passed between me and the Ravager. And now I'm trying to figure out what it was. The speakers crackle again. Velrix's voice comes through and he's trying very hard to maintain his drill instructor composure. "Cadet Webb, remain where you are. Do not approach the Ravager. Do not make any sudden movements. Do not breathe aggressively." "Sir, how do I breathe aggressively?" I don't know, but humans probably have a way. The containment gate finally opens and the Ravager practically bolts through it. The handlers look relieved and terrified in equal measure. One of them, a gelatinous being whose emotional states are displayed via color changes, has gone through about 6 different shades in the last minute. Orvax, the crystalline security chief, appears at the arena entrance. His light pulses are rapid and chaotic, which in crystalline body language means something between confused and the universe has betrayed me. Cadet Webb, his translator says, because crystalline species don't use sound for communication, please proceed to the medical evaluation room. I'm not injured, sir. Neither was the Ravager. That's the problem. Pip and I make our way out of the arena. The other cadets are staring at us, or more specifically at me. Crenshaw is on a stretcher, conscious but looking like he's had a religious experience. One of his antennae is bent at a weird angle. Webb, he croaks as we pass. What are you? Human, last time I checked. That's not possible. Humans are supposed to be friendly. Yeah, we are. Still am, actually. We reach the medical evaluation room, which is less a room and more an entire wing of the facility. The medical staff takes one look at Pip, who's clearly having a delayed panic response, and immediately sets him up with whatever the alien equivalent of a stress blanket and hot chocolate is. I get directed to a scanning chamber. Dr. Helix, the Academy's chief medical officer, is a trilarian with tentacles and 3 brains, which apparently makes her really good at multitasking. She's currently using 7 tentacles to operate scanning equipment while her remaining 3 are typing reports. Cadet Webb, she says, and her voice has that particular tone doctors use when they're trying to solve a mystery. I'm going to run a full biological scan. Is that acceptable? Sure. Am I in trouble? Trouble? No. You've just caused an unprecedented event in Academy history. We need to understand what happened. The scanners activate, and I spend 20 minutes standing perfectly still while various machines make concerning noises. Dr. Helix's tentacles are moving faster as data appears on her screens. Fascinating, she mutters. Your cortisol levels are completely normal, no adrenaline spike. Your heart rate is slightly elevated but within acceptable parameters for someone who just ate lunch. I was hungry. You faced down a Krathmon Ravager and you were thinking about food? Multitasking is a human skill. She makes a notation. Your biochemistry is reading as relaxed. Not calm like meditation, but relaxed like you were watching entertainment. Did you feel threatened? I think about it. Honestly? No. It was interesting, but not scary. Interesting, she repeats. You found an apex predator interesting. Well, yeah. How often do I get to see one up close? Dr. Helix's tentacles stop moving, all of them. Her 3 brains are apparently working in concert to process this information. Cadet Webb, do you understand what you are? A human, a persistence predator with pattern recognition so advanced that you can predict behavior across species barriers, binocular vision for tracking prey, enough endurance to chase animals until they die of exhaustion, and apparently no fear response to creatures that should absolutely trigger one. That seems like a lot of words for human. Because the galaxy doesn't think of humans that way. You're the friendly species, the ones who cook food and tell stories and adopt dangerous animals as pets. We are those things. But you're also predators. Apex predators. And the Ravager recognized that. There's a knock on the door. Commander Velrix enters and he's brought backup. Behind him are 3 other instructors I vaguely recognize, plus what looks like a xenobiologist carrying about 400 pounds of equipment. Cadet Webb, Velrix says, and his voice has lost all of its drill instructor authority. He just sounds tired. We need to talk about what happened today. The Ravager left. The Ravager has never retreated from any cadet in 15 years of Academy drills. It has faced down Krellian warforms, Savorian pack hunters, and once an entire squadron of Martok warriors. It has never backed down. Maybe it wasn't feeling well? We checked. It's in perfect health. Actually, according to the handlers, it's never been calmer. The xenobiologist steps forward. She's a Kixian with multiple sensor organs and the excited energy of a scientist who's just found something impossible. Cadet Webb, do you know what predator recognition is? When predators recognize other predators? Exactly. Most apex predators avoid each other. The energy cost of fighting another apex predator is too high, and the risk of injury can be fatal even if you win. So predators have evolved recognition systems, body language, scent markers, behavioral cues. Okay? The Ravager recognized you as an apex predator, not as potential prey, not as a non-threat, as a peer predator, possibly one it wasn't equipped to handle. Velrix's scales do that rippling thing again. Are you saying that humans have been apex predators this entire time and nobody noticed? Not nobody, the xenobiologist says. Anyone who really looked at human biology would see it. Forward-facing eyes, stamina-based hunting adaptations, complex problem-solving abilities, pack coordination instincts. But humans are also friendly and social and culturally predisposed to cooperation, so everyone assumed they were something else. We are friendly, I point out. I like most people. I help Pip with his homework. I share my snacks. Right, Dr. Helix says, her tentacles gesturing in emphasis. Because you choose to be. That's actually more impressive than being naturally docile. You have all the tools of an apex predator, and you choose to use them for cooking and art and making friends. There's a long silence while everyone processes this. Finally, Velrix speaks. We're going to need to update our training protocols. For humans, for everyone. We can't have the predator drill shut down every time a human enrolls. There's only one of me, I point out. For now, Velrix says ominously. For now. So here's what happens when you accidentally break an academy's most prestigious training exercise. Bureaucracy. So much bureaucracy. I spend the next 3 hours in meetings with various administrators, all of whom are trying to figure out if what happened was a drill failure, a cadet success, or some third thing that doesn't have a category yet. The Venn diagram of alien confusion is apparently just a circle. Director Karth, who runs the academy and is a species I can't pronounce that looks like a floating cloud of intelligent crystals, keeps asking me variations of the same question. Did you intentionally intimidate the Ravager? No, sir. Did you use any pheromones or biological weapons? I'm not sure humans have those. We checked. You do. You're just not aware of them. That's mildly concerning. Did you at any point feel like you were asserting dominance? I felt like I was looking at an interesting animal, sir. Director Karth's crystals dim and brighten in what might be frustration. That might be worse. Eventually, they let me go with a warning not to approach any more academy predators without supervision, which seems reasonable. They also give me a passing grade for the drill, which seems less reasonable, but I'm not arguing. Pip is waiting for me outside the administration building, and he's apparently processed his trauma into something resembling awe. Marcus, do you know what the other cadets are saying? That I'm weird? That you're terrifying. There's a rumor you made the Ravager cry. It doesn't have tear ducts. That's not the point. The point is you've become a legend. Cadets are arguing about whether humans should be classified as predators or super predators. I vote for neither. Can I just be a guy? Too late. Crenshaw is in the medical bay telling everyone that you have secret hunting adaptations. We start walking back to the dorms. The campus has that post-crisis energy where everyone's talking in clusters and looking over their shoulders. Several cadets see me coming and immediately cross to the other side of the path. This is going to make the rest of the semester weird, I say. Weirder than having a human roommate who apparently radiates apex predator energy? I don't radiate anything. Marcus, you made a Krathmon Ravager retreat. That's like making a black hole change direction. It doesn't happen. We reach our dorm room. I collapse onto my bunk while Pip starts stress organizing his collection of holonovels, which is apparently how Lepori process extreme events. My datapad buzzes. It's a message from Commander Velrix. Cadet Webb, report to my office at 800 tomorrow. We need to discuss your training schedule going forward. Also, the xenobiology department wants to study you. Also, you're banned from the petting zoo. Why am I banned from the petting zoo? I call out to Pip. Did you visit the petting zoo recently? Yeah, last week, I was playing with the Fluffernax kits. Playing or hunting? Pip, I don't hunt. Your energy might disagree. I groan and pull up my blanket. This is ridiculous, I didn't do anything. That's exactly what makes it scary, Pip says, and his voice has gone quiet. You didn't do anything aggressive or threatening. You just existed near the Ravager, and it decided you were too dangerous to mess with. That means every predator instinct that thing has, every evolutionary advantage its species developed over millions of years, all of it said run away from the hairless ape. I'm not hairless, I have hair. Compared to most species, you're basically naked. Thanks for that observation. My datapad buzzes again. This time it's from Dr. Helix. Cadet Webb, the Ravager's handlers, reported has been unusually calm since the incident. It's not aggressive during feeding time, it's almost docile. What did you do to it? I type back. I looked at it. Her response comes immediately. That shouldn't be enough. But it was enough, wasn't it? Because somewhere in that moment, in that stare down that wasn't really a stare down, the Ravager had done what every intelligent predator does. It had assessed the situation, calculated the risks, and decided that some fights aren't worth having. And humans, I'm realizing, are probably the galaxy's most confusing fight to consider. We're not the biggest or the strongest or the fastest, but we're patient. We're clever. We coordinate in groups. We use tools. And most importantly, we never stop coming. The Ravager looked at me and saw a creature that had no fear response because fear requires thinking you might lose. And humans don't think they might lose. We've been winning for so long it's hardwired into our behavior. Another message pops up, this time from an unknown sender. Cadet Webb, this is Professor Zenith from the Department of Xenobiology. I'm writing a paper on predator recognition across species barriers. Would you be willing to participate in some non-invasive studies? We'll pay you in meal credits. They're offering meal credits for me to be a lab rat, I tell Pip. Are you going to do it? I mean, the cafeteria food is expensive. Pip laughs, and it's the first genuine sound of amusement I've heard from him since the drill. Only you would nearly cause an interspecies incident and then agree to be studied for sandwich money. It's not about the sandwiches. It's about the principle. The principle of sandwiches? Exactly. There's a knock on our door. Pip answers it, and standing there is Crenshaw. His antenna is bandaged and he's moving gingerly, but he's alive. He looks at me with his compound eyes, and I can see about 400 different emotions reflected in them. Webb, he says finally, I owe you an apology. For what? For assuming humans were soft. For thinking you were just the friendly species. For not understanding that friendly doesn't mean harmless. I'm not trying to be scary, Crenshaw. I know, that's what makes it worse. He shifts his weight, wincing. The Ravager broke 2 of my limbs. I had a plan, a strategy, 60 million years of evolutionary advantages, and it went through me like I was paper. I'm sorry that happened. Don't be, it was a learning experience. He pauses. Then I watch from the medical drone as you just stood there and the Ravager backed down. I've been thinking about it all day, about what it means. What does it mean? That humans have been choosing to be nice. That's somehow more impressive than being naturally peaceful. You could be terrifying, but you'd rather be friendly. That takes strength. I don't really know what to say to that, so I just nod. Crenshaw nods back, then limps away down the corridor. Pip closes the door and looks at me. You know this is going to change things, right? He says. The Academy, maybe the whole galaxy. People are going to look at humans differently now. Because one Ravager got spooked? Because everyone's going to wonder what else they've been wrong about. If humans are secretly apex predators hiding behind smiles in restaurants, what other assumptions are wrong? My datapad is going crazy now. Messages from cadets, instructors, even some news outlets that somehow heard about the incident. The galactic internet moves fast. One message catches my eye. It's from Commander Velrix. Cadet Webb, I've been reviewing Earth's history. I found documentation of your species hunting woolly mammoths to extinction, chasing them across continents, outlasting them through sheer persistence. I also found records of humans domesticating wolves, which are themselves apex predators. You didn't just coexist with predators. You made them into pets, into family members. I'm beginning to understand why the Ravager was confused. Your species doesn't just compete with apex predators. You befriend them, or outlast them, or both. This is going to require significant updates to our xenobiology curriculum. Also, you're still banned from the petting zoo. I show the message to Pip. He reads it and shakes his head. Humans are weird. We're really not. We're just humans. Marcus, your species turned wolves into chihuahuas. You took apex predators and made them into animals that fit in purses. That's more of a testament to genetics than predation. You're not helping your case. I finally turn off my datapad because the notifications are getting ridiculous. Tomorrow I'll deal with the meetings and the studies and whatever new protocols the Academy is implementing. Tonight I just want to sleep. But as I'm drifting off, I think about the Ravager, about that moment of recognition, about what it must be like to be an apex predator that suddenly realizes there's something else out there, something that doesn't fit into the neat categories of prey or competitor, something that's friendly until it decides not to be, something that has all the tools of a predator, but uses them to make art and tell stories and adopt dangerous animals, something that will chase you for days if necessary, but would rather just invite you to dinner. The galaxy, I think, is about to have some very interesting conversations about humanity, and I'm going to need a better explanation than, I just looked at it. But that's tomorrow's problem. Tonight I'm just Marcus Webb, human cadet 3rd class who accidentally canceled the Academy's most prestigious drill by having a staring contest with a nightmare beast. And winning. Sort of. I mean, it left, so I'm counting it as a win. The last thing I hear before falling asleep is Pip muttering to himself, "My roommate is an apex predator. My roommate is an apex predator. I'm living with an apex predator." I can still hear you, Pip. That doesn't make it less true. Fair enough. In the morning, the cafeteria is absolutely packed. Word has spread. Every cadet in the Academy apparently wants to see the human who made a Krathmon Ravager retreat. I walk in, and the noise level drops by about 60%. Great. This is going to be my life now. I get my breakfast, which today is some kind of protein cube, and what the cafeteria insists is orange juice, but definitely is night. The line parts around me like I'm radioactive. Even the cafeteria staff, who've seen everything, are giving me extra space. Pip finds me at an empty table. We're very empty table. Nobody wants to sit near the apex predator. This is going to take some getting used to, I say. On the bright side, Pip offers, you'll never have to wait in line again. That's not a bright side. That's social isolation. Could be worse. Could be medical isolation. Which is where Crenshaw still is, by the way. I take a bite of protein cube. It tastes like cardboard and regret. Do you think things will go back to normal eventually? Pip's ears droop. Marcus, I don't think normal exists anymore. You've fundamentally changed how the galaxy thinks about humans. There's no going back from that. I didn't mean to. The scariest things never do. And you know what? He's probably right. The galaxy is going to have to recalibrate. Humans aren't just the friendly species anymore. We're the friendly species that could absolutely destroy you but would rather share a meal instead. We're apex predators who chose diplomacy over domination. We're the thing that makes other predators nervous. And all because I stood in an arena and looked at a Ravager like it was an interesting documentary instead of a threat. My datapad buzzes one more time. It's from Director Karth. Cadet Webb. Due to yesterday's events, the Academy has decided to create a new classification for human cadets. You are now listed as a Class A biological wildcard. This comes with special privileges and restrictions. Report to my office after breakfast. And please, for the love of all that is stable in the universe, do not stare at any more predators. I show it to Pip. Class A biological wildcard, he reads. That's either the coolest title ever or the most terrifying. I'm going with both. Very human of you. We finish breakfast in comfortable silence, surrounded by 200 cadets who are all pretending not to stare at me while absolutely staring at me. The Academy's Predator drill was cancelled after the beast took one look at a human cadet, and somehow, that's become my legacy. But you know what? I'm okay with it. Because at the end of the day, I'm still just Marcus Webb, still human, still friendly, just maybe a little more apex predator than anyone expected. And that's fine. The galaxy will adjust, they always do.